Hello guys, this is Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM React, episode number 620, and today we reacting to Purple Roads, episode 67, Adam Brown, who is body actor of Riff of Barney and Friends. And we react to this beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour, and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show, Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carrie Stinson, and we are so thrilled you're here. As always, we're going to have so much fun. I know we've got so many Barney fans. You are going to be thrilled.
Wow.
We've got this week. We've had Jeff Ayers, who played Baby Bop, and we've had Kyle Nelson, who played BJ, but we've never had on his own Adam Brown, who played Riff, and today we do have him. So, Adam, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow.
This is going to be so much fun, Adam. We've had a lot of Barney fans and Purple Rose fans that want to know more about Riff. It was a character that came in the later shows, and never been talked about as much. And I thought this is going to be so much fun that we can talk all about Riff.
Yes, I'm excited. I can't wait to share all my stories from when I started Riff and how I joined with Baby Bop and BJ and of course Barney and being on the set and I'm excited to share my stories.
All right, well, we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about Riff, but I want to start out with kind of how did you even, because you've got some other things that you've done. You've been in the business for a long time. So let's talk about how did you get into the business.
I just started, and actually in high school. I started working with Walker, Texas Ranger in high school as a summer job, as a stunt double. That was kind of like my summer job when I was in school. And then my senior year, some friends of mine told me about Radio City Music Hall up in New York City, and went to the open audition out in LA at a Little People's Convention, and auditioned there, and then about a month later, got the call back. I was right out of high school, and so from that fall of '97, I headed off to New York and started my career at Radio City, and did that for about 12 seasons. And then after 12 seasons, when my wife and I, we adopted our first son, and then I've known Jeff Ayers and Kyle, and then I met you, of course, and then they told me about the open audition for Riff, for the new character of Cousin Riff, and so I was like, what a perfect opportunity, and I was excited, and so from Radio City, I got the part for playing Riff, so that's when my journey started. So yes, I've been in the entertainment business for quite a while, and I think with having that experience from stage and then in TV, it was so great to come in and become Riff.
Well, first of all, it's one of the things I love about Purple Rose is I had no idea about Texas Walker.
Yes.
You were stuck double there.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea about that, so I absolutely love that. Because you were in Texas. You're not in Texas anymore, but you were in Texas.
Right.
And that was one of the shows that a lot of the actors were doing. That had been stunt doubles or this and that. That also, Barney and Texas Walker Ranger. So
yeah, and what was cool about it when I started, as a high school teenager, I got to learn so much because I wasn't on camera, but I was off camera and working with the kids, and I got to learn how they do all the business, how the TV, how the production works on and off, camera, and meeting the actors and actresses, and that's just how I kind of got more excited about being in the entertainment business. And then when I got Radio City, live theater, and doing that, so it just from working my way up, and it was really cool to start at a young age and then work my way up.
So let's talk about that. how obviously it was very important to your career.
Yeah.
Had you ever been a stunt double? I mean,
No, no.
Just looking to get in the business, and I'll take whatever job is there.
Yeah, and I think, not just because of my size and everything, but I think with being athletic, I was in sports.
Right.
I was in wrestling, swimming, football. I was a trainer. I did a lot. So being athletic and being mobile really helped me doing those jobs. And then going from Walker, Texas Ranger to live theater at Racing Music Hall, where you have to dance and move around, and be in costume, be in character. And I think that's what really helped me staying fit along my years and then being able to do other jobs.
Wow.
Which, Kyle Nelson is another one that comes to my head.
Exactly.
Such an athletic, you could just wind him up and
Yep.
No, but I love Jeff Ayres to no end. And
Yes.
boy had a motor that never stopped either. So
Yes.
obviously very important things.
Mm-hmm.
We had Edward Hall on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dana, that you worked with.
Yes.
And I, it's so funny. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Edward Hall is part of LJPCBM. Continue on.
I've been at Radio City Music Hall with Barney.
Yeah.
It was such an unbelievable experience to perform there. What was it like for you? You've gone from a stunt double in Texas, to going up to New York. First of all, you're in New York, and then that's a huge production. So
Huge.
Adjustment like to jump into a show like that.
I think, like I said before, when I joined it back when I was just right out of high school and going to New York City, just being in a big city alone, never been there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a whole new world. And then going to the theater, and then from rehearsals, it was different. But then when we started having live audience and everything, 6,000 people in that place.
Right.
And at first I was a little stage fright. I was like, oh my gosh, just being there. But as I got comfortable with it and everything, it became natural. But yeah, performing with that many people and just the audience, the clapping, the laughter, and everything, it made it worthwhile. And that I've had so many great memories there, and so it's been fun.
When do you go from at Radio City? When do you go from just learning the show and being nervous about that to being able to settle down and realize what you're doing, realize that you're performing in one of the most famous venues in the world?
I think when I started at such a young age,
right,
and in rehearsals, and I think this goes back to my sports, being a perfectionist, knowing my stuff, knowing what I need to do as a character, but as a group, if you're performing with a group. And I think that's what I just learned over the years and the seasons during rehearsals, and then going to stage and knowing my stuff. Because when you get on stage, just like when you practice and when you play a game or live theater, you know what you're doing, and it just became natural. And that's what and then when I got feedback from my director and my coach and other peers, they said, when you're on stage, you look like you're just flawless. You're natural. It doesn't look like you're nervous, worried about what's next or what to say or what to do. And I think over the years, I've just built that. I built that trust in me, and I built that trust with my group that I've performed with and stuff. So it just become a routine.
Well, you and I both have that in common, that we went from live to the TV show.
Right.
Which is obviously a big challenge.
It is, yeah.
What was it like coming in, and we'll talk way into it about the new character, but let's just talk about the fact going from live to going to Barney and working on a TV show, where it's a completely different experience.
Yes, that was a huge difference. I mean, for one, getting used to the costume for one,
right,
and then more vision and everything like that.
Right,
too,
because you weren't in a costume at Radio City.
No, and I was more. I mean, I had my costume, but I was more open, like this.
Sure.
And when I got to Barney and getting used to the Riff costume, the Riff head, and then just getting used to my surroundings, because I have 3 other people on set with me, plus with where I'm at in the studio, but also getting used to be able to be in front of the camera, because there's 4 cameras there, depending on what we're doing, if we're doing a dance or doing a dialogue, and you had to make sure you were not I think I've learned this from you guys. Always never turn your back on the camera, and that was always, you know, a thing that I always had in mind. But also being more front visual, but also doing my lines or dance and stuff. So I think it was a challenge, but I got used to it. I adapt to it, and I think that's what kind of carried me on. And you guys helped me along the way. It really made it smooth.
Well, and how about that? The fact that you come into a show where people have been doing it for a while.
Yes.
Is that something, you know, I mean, even the kids, right? So you're
Right.
fresh, and once again, we'll talk here in just 1 second about the new character, but just getting into this where everyone's been there, and it is all new for you.
Yes, yeah, and I think, and also with knowing the people that I'm working with, you know, the main characters, that really helps.
Sure.
And that really helped in judging everything and stuff. I mean, I know we met before, but we never really worked together.
That's right.
And I think as we carried on, and that kind of was more of a, okay, I'm good. I got the help if I need it, but I'm learning as I'm going.
Right.
So.
Right. All right. So let's talk about Riff. So, there's so many places to go with it. You know, it was a new character. That, you know, Barney, Baby Bop, and BJ were so established at this point. And, you know, it's so funny because I even remember when BJ was a new character, people were struggling to figure that out. And then here, all these years later, here comes in Riff. And so you're part of this new costume, you're part of this development, you're part of this character. And we'll talk about Michaela as well. So you've got a voice, which happens to me, you'd never worked with that.
Right.
And so you and Michaela are trying to figure this out. So there's a lot going on there. So let's just start off with coming into this character. What did you do talking to producers or the costume people, all that, to kind of get a feel for what you were going to do with this character?
Well, I think my first question is, you know, who is Cousin Riff? What is this like, you know, because the one thing that came into mind was the music of this, you know, his head lighting up, creating music. But also I didn't want to, because I've known Kyle before, and he's a boy, and Cousin Riff, I think one thing that we were working on is not to be the same as BJ, you know, be a whole different character, even though we're, you know, but from body structure to, that's where I created my, you know, my tap on my stomach to create that, and just to brainstorm different ideas. And be, I mean, yes, we're, you know, together, but a whole different, you know, person or character. I mean, and I think that was one thing I was learning on, making sure I wasn't being the same as BJ, or, you know, and I think that's one thing we were working on at first. But as I established it more and got to learn more about Riff with his music and being, you know, adventurous and getting ideas and being, you know, that to collaborate with Baby Bop style and BJ style and then Barney, and I think that just kind of collaborated, you know, together. So that was, you know, it was a working process, but as it grew, it got better and everything and stuff. So
well, sure, because, you know, obviously I knew the character of Barney, but you go different places with it, right? Barney's about love and all that, and so you put some things into that. You are respectful of the character. You know, in your case, you're the only one that done it, but for me, there have been other actors that do it. So it takes a little bit of time to take that character and settle in on it.
Right.
Obviously, you need time. How long did it take you? Did you feel like, okay, now I got Riff, and I can now take it to these other places?
I think it took, you know, getting used to each of the studios, and then getting used to the different, I mean, about, you know, 6 or 7, you know, episodes in, I started to get, you know, break in, and with Kyle and Jeff, and then, you know, with them, and then you, of course, and then just getting used to that. But then once I got my, you know, knew what I remembering the lines was, you know, easy, it was fine, but also, like we're talking about here, is, you know, is my voice. You know, establishing, you know, syncing with that, and you know, that was huge key, because on TV, you know, yes, it's different, but just to make sure it's, you know, you're talking the same time as, you know, as my voice is and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and then there's the aspect, which I always tell people, one of the hardest things about it
Uh-huh.
is that it was hard for us to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when you have kids, you're probably going to have to do several takes. And the last thing you want is that one of those dinosaurs messes up.
Right.
and
Right,
causes the
yes.
mistake, right?
Yes.
Because if the kid got it right, but then, Barney tripped or Riff, whatever,
Oh yeah.
we got to do another take. So, did you feel that pressure to come in and like every take you got to get it, not perfect, but almost perfect?
I did, and it was different because live theater, you're live.
Right.
You mess up, you go on. And
Yeah.
TV, you mess up, take, but I felt kind of guilty for myself. Yes, I'm the new guy,
Right.
new guy coming in, and you guys, I got old veterans here, working in and stuff. And
Now, before you talk about that old veteran thing,
I mean,
just a veteran, we don't need to mention the old part.
no, just from experience, there, but no, just and I think it was more my confidence, more making sure I'm doing right and pleasing you guys and pleasing the directors and the staff and everybody. And I think, but that's just me inside. But then once the audio or someone a prop like that, so it just cut and retake. And I think the dances, when we did the couple like 6 or 8 times of the dances over and over and over just to get the right picture. But yeah, it was just I had a little at first, but then things happen, so you just have to roll with it.
Right. Well, and we talked a little bit on this show, but people don't realize what goofballs all 4 of us are.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, we're just busting each other and
Oh yeah.
playing and all of that stuff, which you have to do when you spend that amount of time that you do in those costumes in every aspect.
Yeah.
Right.
Did that take some pressure off, though, that whatever you do, Jeff Ayers is going to give you some grief, or Kyle's going to review, or I'm going to, I mean, that's part of what's going to go on. Does that take the pressure off?
It did so much. I mean, and from knowing Jeff and Kyle, and then get to know you, and just laughing and just having a good time, and just letting it flow. And oh yeah, I mean, that would really. At first, I was kind of like just more of like making sure I'm doing a good job, but then also as I got flow and get to know it, and Jeff would always come over to me. He goes, "Don't worry about it. You're doing fine. Just do it." So I've always looked up to him. As for that advice and everything. So, and of course, my brother Kyle, and you of course too. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, because if you don't have fun and love what you're doing, you're not gonna have your time.
Right.
It's gonna be more frustrating, and so that's when it's really kind of like get off the edge and stuff. But
well, Jeff Ayers is one of the most inspirational people that I have ever met on this planet.
By far.
Planet. Hopefully he won't watch this episode, because if he does, it'll go to his head. But
it sure will. It will.
And I'm actually kidding, because he's very humble and he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, I love the guy.
But he really is. He really is. And I want to talk a little bit about.
Oh, and that's what I react to on LJPCBM before. Continue on.
Little people in this aspect of it, because I've never seen the experiences that I have seen with you guys, and the absolute inspiration of it all is kind of mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 6'2".
Wow.
And for you guys to have to keep up with me running around the place and all of that kind of stuff, every aspect of involved, and there was never a complaint, there was never anything. And any aspect that you had to do, you guys just didn't even, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
Right.
From a stunt, from a this, from a that, those kind of things.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about where your inspirations came from?
Yeah, I mean, my, number one, my mom. I mean, she's the one that sorry.
No, and I surely didn't mean to do that. I should have warned you before I was going to do that.
No, but from day one, I mean, I'm the youngest of 3. I got an older brother and older sister, and same with Kyle, and with Jeff. I mean, and my with my brothers, 6'3", 4. They're average. They're all average size, but she always, supported me in whatever I did. Never looked, just because I was a little person.
Right.
And that went with the same with, Jeff Ayers and his family and Kyle and stuff. And we just have that, with doing sports and school and, living a normal life, just with some modifications along the way. And my dad, the only one thing that my dad did in the house to help us in it was put a little knob at the back door for me to go out to the back door. Otherwise, I climbed on the counters. I got the top of the cereal to the top of the box. If I had to get the fridge, I climbed up. I did it. The laundry, I did. I climbed, and that's just how my parents, let me live a normal life. And if I needed something, just ask. And so, but my mom and of course my dad too, but she was the one that pushed me to different things, from sports to and I think back to being in sports. I don't think they never really thought I was going to do acting or entertainment, and I think with her stuff along the way made me go pursue that career. And just with the confidence and just with that and being involved with Little People of America and the Dwarf Athletic Association, and that's how I met Jeff and Kyle and stuff. And it just, and they've and my mom has always been a mentor, to Kyle and Jeff, and just helping him out. When Jeff's wife Kim came down, my mom was there for her, and just so she's always been there, not just her own son, but for everybody. And I think that's what got me, just to spread the love and stuff. So,
well, it's so important. It's so important. We're in this time and we talk about diversity. We talk about all the things we talk about, but the reality is, right? Can you do the job or not? I mean, it just really comes down to that. And you guys come in and can you do the job? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
There's an attitude towards it that is so impressive. From you, from Kyle, from Jeff. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it.
And you could ask, Kyle and Jeff and me, if someone walks in and says, those three guys can't do that, that's like, oh yeah, watch us, we can. Because you've known us, you know what we can do, and you tell us, oh, you can't do that because of your height or something like that. Then it's more of a motivation for us to go bigger.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's a joke, but I used to tour before the Barney tour. I would just do road trip, sing-alongs with those guys. Man, Kyle would knock me down backstage, and we'd be wrestling full on. Goodness gracious!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Jeff Brooks and Jeff Ayers. I mean, I'm 6 foot something. Take me down, and as soon as I'm down to your level, it's over.
It's over.
Oh, yeah. But there's something and it's just, I think it's so important. It's why I talk about it, because it's not that I see you any different. Right? There's some aspects that the world does, and I'm telling you, as soon as they see this, they won't. They absolutely won't, because there just is no difference. And I think that's so important with the whole thing. And I know, what your mom did was so important, because as soon as she got you to believe, it's over.
Yeah.
I've told on one of my episodes about my dad used to live close to Jeff Ayers.
Wow.
He'd walk in the grocery store and Jeff Ayers would be on the top getting coffee.
Yes.
And my dad would go run, Jeff Ayers, and he'd run down and go get that, get down off the damn thing, get the coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's never a complaint. There's nothing like that. And so it's a very impressive thing. And
and I think what I hope to do, and with all this craziness with what's going on in the world today, that's one thing I want to keep on. I want to keep my mom's legacy. I want to help others. With other aspects in life, with disability or whatever, and just and then reach out to parents because the one thing is that they're afraid to ask. They're afraid to ask for help. They're afraid to ask for advice. Because we've been there, we've done that. We know, because if you don't ask, we won't know, and that's why I want to reach out to other people like, you know, you could accomplish anything. It might be a different road or a different path, but you can still do it. And so that's what I just kind of want to, and I'm sure Kyle and Jeff will say the same thing, because we have such loving and supportive families along the way to do what we do.
Right.
And so.
No, but you are doing it. There's no question in this world, the best way to do it is to do it. Right?
Exactly.
There's tons of people that talk about, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that.
Right.
You're just showing it. I mean,
right.
Plain and simple. That's what I saw for all the years that I did Barney, from the road to wherever it may be.
Yeah.
Whatever little person it was, you know.
Yes.
It's almost a joke to even use that term, because
exactly.
That's not the way I really see it. It's
right.
just Kyle or it's Adam or it's this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the only reason I bring it up is just because I think it is so important.
Oh, it's huge
for other people to see that and to understand that.
Right.
Because, you know, that's a term, but that's it. There is not one lick that holds you back in any way.
Right.
And you know, I remember we were on the tour. Anyone ever had said anything, goodness gracious, I was ready to tackle someone, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It is really ignorance and not understanding that.
It is.
But sometimes it just takes to show someone, because you don't have to tell them. You just have to see them and
show them.
You know, I'm just thinking now, when you started off this episode talking about being a stunt man on Texas, walking around.
Wow.
Because you've never done it before. You know.
Yeah.
That says so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to change subject a little bit, and let's talk about what it was like working with Michaela. And I know a lot of people want to talk about that. She's having to create a voice. You guys are having to create a rhythm.
Wow.
You've never done anything like.
Which I'll have to talk about in the episode of LJPCBM some other time, because we'll be on Pepper Roads episode 70. Continue on.
This, you're trying to figure out a costume and then how to make that costume work with a voice with a person that's in another room. So what was that like? So let's talk about just starting out with her and how to develop over the time on Barney.
Well, yeah, exactly. When I joined Barney and become Riff and get to know my costume and, you know, character, and then meeting Michaela for the first time, just to get to know her, you know, as a person, and talking to her and everything, and then getting to know her, you know, how she's going to do the voice and what kind of things, and get to know my body language and my, you know, for her to know me also, because that was key. And then also being in the studio and then being on set, and then with her IB, you know, get to know, you know, when she's gonna you know, say the lines, of course, when I'm gonna, you know, be like motion the lines as my character and stuff. I just get to know her humor, get to know her just personality, because from being Riff on set, then on, you know, off set, you know, was key too, because she can know my body language. I can know her too as well, just from hearing her and stuff. And it's, I think we clicked very, you know, very well. And it was fun. I mean, it was a learning, you know, process at the beginning, because when I would, you know, start speaking and she wasn't there, or, you know, vice versa and stuff. But I mean, just we clicked. And then and what was cool is she would give me little notes too as well, say, "Hey Adam, try this," and it was neat, just as a coach, just she's watching me on the screen, and she's seeing me and say, "Hey Adam, try this," or "Hey Adam, let's switch this up a little bit," and that was kind of cool, because I'm like, you know, I can't see myself, I'm just in front of the camera, and so she was kind of helping me along the way. So it was, and we kind of built that bond. I mean, along each episode and stuff. So it was cool, and it was a great time and great memory, and I really cherish that.
Well, that's the key to it all for all of us.
Right.
You know, I obviously have my relationship with Dean.
Right.
Why it works so well, and obviously Jeff and Julie, but they've been with so long, and you know, and Kyle and Patty. I think that one was a pretty natural one. So it is a relationship that is so important, because sometimes there's actually more pressure. People don't think about this, but more pressure on the voice if they have to do a specific thing, or this or this or that. And sometimes the body costumes, you know, if we're doing or things like that. How long did it take you when you started feeling like you and Michaela had kind of hit a stride and you were feeling good about it?
I think it was, you know, halfway through the season, halfway through through my first season. I mean, it was like, I mean, I won't say baby steps, but it was step by step and get to know that and everything. And also it goes back to the pressure of me because Jeff, and Kyle and you have already established a relationship. You've been doing that for quite a while. Right. And so you get to know as a new person or new kid on the block coming in, and then get to know my own voice, and for us to build our relationship to join you guys to be able to kind of sing. So I mean, just not halfway through, but but we learned something from each episode. How to what to do next. We carry on and as we grew and stuff. So I mean, of course, there was bumps in the road. I mean, I don't say bumps in the road, but mistakes. But but you learn from them and say, hey, we can do this better. We can tweak it and stuff. So it was good. It was a great experience. And loved it.
Talk about what it was like working with the crew, because they helped more than I think people realized. I had camera people that would actually be pointing where the direction this was going to go, or right before take, they do that. I mean, and lighting and the prop people and this and that. I mean, it really was a family.
Yes.
How did that family help you?
Well, yeah. Once I got to know a lot, the cameraman, of course, and then our props people, besides our directors and everything, it did feel like family because they knew they can kind of read our body language. They can read from where where to look, like you said, on camera, or what prop we need, because our vision was only from here as well. So if we needed a hand of the prop or such, they kind of knew what we were or what was next or what to do, and it was great to have that trust. It was great to, I mean, of course we joked around and had fun and and everything, but it was neat to have that family atmosphere, on each set that we were in. So
and then working with kids.
Yes.
And
that was yes, that with our set kids, our kids that were on set, but then when we had extras, it was always hard because Jeff Ayers would always make us freaking laugh, and so because when we had to keep quiet on in costume, we can't laugh and stuff. So that was always I tried to sneak away from, because I knew I was gonna we were gonna start laughing. But yes, working with kids and on and off camera and stuff, and get to know our set kids plus our extras and stuff.
Yeah, because people, if you don't understand, to the audience, our set kids knew who we were and had seen us in costumes, but the extras didn't. So all extras had no idea. They would come in after we had rehearsed and everything. So record. So they had no idea. So if Jeff Ayers was cracking a joke, we could not laugh.
Man.
And, Jeff Ayers.
There was times that we had to walk off or we had to walk away, because it just. But it was all of us. I'm just saying, because that humor that we had and stuff. So, but
but you probably also weren't used to the voices, who are hysterical.
That was another thing. The voices is one that got us.
Wow.
Yes, and they would just talk and talk and talk, and we're about to do a take, and they're just giggling, laughing. It's just so hearing the voices and the laughter. And then about to do to Baby Bop Hot or doing a different song or dialogue. So the collaboration of things. And so it was
because you got Patty, Julie, Dean, and Michaela.
Oh my gosh!
And I've talked about this too, but it's interesting because they're not in costume. So yes, there is some sympathy to us, obviously, but at the same time, they've also been in a little booth for 4 or 5 hours at a time. So,
and what was hard was they can talk to us, but we couldn't talk back to them.
Right.
So it was always
that's not true. I could talk back to them with some sign language. I had a few that I could talk about.
Yes. When there wasn't any kids on set or whatever, we knew exactly. I caught off Jeff and Kyle and
right.
Yeah.
There was definitely some times that I had to take my IFB and turn that off for a little bit.
Oh.
So I could focus and regroup.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. That was great. That was fun. Good times.
It was good times. So, what was it like for you when all of a sudden you get to do? I know you had to have been part of some of the Make-A-Wishes and actually meeting some of the fans of Barney. You remember some of those?
Yes, yeah, I remember we did a couple of those Make-A-Wishes there as well, and that's always been huge on my heart. And I think the reason why I wanted to be a part of Barney, because I want to be, I want to be a part of children's lives and, and from their living room on TV and sharing, different, either from music to education to love to different things that we did along the years when I was with Barney, and then being a part of Make-A-Wish and being part of that, that child's special day, because they don't get everything, of that, like, a normal, I won't say normal, but other kids do. And so it just, doing that outside of doing Barney and the episodes, that was very special. And I'm glad we did that, because, you wouldn't, they'll always remember that, that special time, that special thing that they had, besides watching the videos and episodes and stuff. So.
But as I always say, I'll always remember it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Those experiences will. I always say they'll impact me more than maybe I could have ever impacted the kid.
Right.
It's one of the most incredible experiences to think that a child's last wish is to meet their friends. What was it like for you to understand this is really not a job? I mean, it is, right? We make money and all of that.
Exactly.
But the reality of this is it's a responsibility, because when that Make-A-Wish child, or even when you're on that show, when you're on there performing,
right,
Adam's gone.
Right.
But it's Riff, and his character they watch TV every day with, and so the things you're doing, and here we are over 10 years later. And, they're still showing our episodes all over the place. And there's a huge desire from things that we did a long time ago.
Right.
They'll be around forever. So what was that like, understanding this is not just a job, like this is a responsibility?
Right. And when I joined this business back from high school, but then from Radio City, and then joined Barney, I realized along the way that if I don't love what I'm doing and to give what the audience and the kids, then I'm not doing my job.
Exactly.
And like you said, it wasn't all about the money. It was all about, and also seeing the parents' faces of what we were doing with Make-A-Wish, and seeing them either with tears, with so happy and thrilled because their child is able to have this special moment. And like you said, yes, I'll always remember that. And I think giving back to our audience and making sure they're loving for what we do, I know we did our job, and that's huge. And I would bend backwards to do it all over again. And just that was always from Barney and Radio City and other people that I met along the way, when they come back to you and go, you really made a big impact on my child. That means I know, I did my job, but I'm glad we did it.
Right.
So.
Well, and you saw that at Radio City. I'm presuming seeing a child respond like that for a parent.
Right.
Goodness.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy. One of my most amusing episodes as a performer will always be when you and Kyle and Jeff played elves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
On the Christmas episode.
Yes.
Yeah, when I saw that script, I shook my head. I said, "Are you kidding me? This ain't gonna be right, because these boys, you're gonna show their face. They're not gonna. This is gonna be a problem. And we're not gonna be able to film this thing. It's gonna take forever." So talk about that episode and doing it.
That was.
Definitely find that one, and I'm gonna post. I've got pictures from it.
Yes.
It was you boys in rehearsal and stuff that were just absolutely hysterical. What was it like having your face out there, being out there, and being out with those two boys.
Actually, that was probably one of my favorite episodes. We were not. I mean, I had many episodes of what I did as Riff, of course. But doing that, and when we got the script and that we were going to be live elves, yes, I thought about my Radio City days, but it was being with Jeff and Kyle. We're outside of costume, we're elves and being character.
And I would have said absolutely not. No, I'm
exactly
not with
Exactly, with our humor and outside of costume and
right,
everything,
it's gonna be all bad.
The dances, and then she's gonna hate me for this. What was our choreographer's name?
Lindy.
Oh gosh, she's gonna hate me.
No,
yes.
she's not. We've all aged just a little bit.
Yes,
yes.
She was amazing. I had a brain fart there. She was. It was so much fun working with her, and doing the dances and doing all the stuff, and then from the presents, and then going on. Wasn't I on top of Kyle's shoulders?
Probably.
Yes, and then oh my god, and just doing the rapping song and doing all that. I'm just like, and then it was great. But I have to give props to our prop department back in Barney for all the episodes for what they do behind the scenes and how they get so beautiful on TV. And that was a really cool set and a really cool picture for that. But yeah, it was fun. It was humor. It was great, and I laugh every year when they show it. And so
yeah,
it was good times.
Yeah, with Purple Rose, I've been going through all my old pictures and this and that.
Yeah.
And I found a picture of the...
which I'm not going to plan on reacting to live at Purple Roads. That's a big no-no. Continue on.
3 of you guys like, oh my goodness. Yeah. that was a mess. A wonderful episode.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But it was, oh my goodness. It was just...
Yes.
Let's talk about a little bit what it was like for you when we went and did videos, because it's a different experience. If you remember the one we did, the carnival one.
Yes.
We were outside.
Yes.
What was that like for you to go to this new experience? Because taking the dinosaurs outside, a whole other adventure.
Yes.
A wonderful adventure, but much more challenging. What was it like for you to go from the TV show? Not that the TV show was easy, but a little bit easier than going out and doing these things.
I think the main thing was just being out in the public.
Right.
And being out, on an open set, and then even with our cast people, but then all the extras, and then thank goodness for our wranglers, being there, with us, because making sure we weren't tripping over cords and other stuff, along with the grass, and it was. Was it during summertime? It was pretty warm some days. It
was warm.
Yeah, and so just with the weather, and then because our studios are cold, most of the time, so it was different with weather, and then changing at a different place and different stuff, and but yeah, I thought it was a cool experience. I think from each of what we're doing, from dancing to the music to the dialogue, and I think the real tricky thing was to make sure we were hearing, because when you got a plane flying by or outside noise, it's always hard to make sure you're hearing what you need to do and stuff. So, but it was a blast. It was fun.
Well, I always find it's interesting because we all have our thing, right?
Right.
From each dinosaur, there's an issue of whether for hearing or the heat or the the surface being whatever, footing, all of those kind of different things. Jeff, Kyle, and myself had done a couple of those videos that were quite hot, so we kind of knew where to pull our energy a little bit, right?
Right.
Was that difficult for you to realize I may not want to go 100% every single one, because out in this heat and stuff, I have 6 takes in me, or 5 takes, or whatever it may be.
Right.
Did you have an issue to get used to the heat? Because you already got heat, and now you got more heat.
Right. And I think with one thing I learned from Jeff way back from the very beginning, he always told me, don't be a hero. If you have to step off, you have to step off. But conserve your energy. Make sure, for each take, and you have to do it again. You have to do it again. But also staying hydrated when we're outside. Making sure you're feeling all right and everything. And I think that's one thing I had when I was outside, depending on if it was a dancing song or walking along, the park or the fair and stuff, to know sure what I needed to conserve my energy and to be able to perform, on for a live take and stuff. So, but yeah,
Wow.
it was a very good. And so when I was not overheated, but when I was hot and needed a break, I said, I gotta have a break and stuff.
Oh, you probably were overheated at some point.
Oh yeah.
All of our meters sooner or later went off.
It was hot. Yes, I lost a lot of weight that summer. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that was a good way to stay slim. There's no question about that.
Right.
How did you feel? Were you comfortable with your dancing? Or was that something learning with all of that, or were you comfortable with it?
I think the dancing. I mean, it was when I first started Barney, and then doing the dancing, and then depending on besides maybe about pop, but then doing other dances, just to making sure I was doing it, for like Riff style, and also collaborating, syncing with you three, and making sure we were all doing the same thing and stuff. So then it was something I've always loved music, but from a dyno aspect of it, I wanted to make sure I was doing Riff and being on beat, being on cue, and that was always key for me and stuff. So, but it was fun.
Could you think of a favorite episode as Riff? Let's talk about outside of the Christmas one. Is there a favorite episode that you had?
I think Music Everywhere is one I did. I mean, from the video that we did on stage, when I did that with Michaela, or the little girl.
Yes.
And then I think we did one in the caboose, the rocket.
Right. Yeah.
That rocket one. I think that was it was very very touching. And there was there's so many that I freaking love, but I think that, when I played Music Everywhere for Riff song, that was really fun. There's a lot of it was, and then the one that I'll probably remember is the was it the elephant or the cow that we had on set when we did the parade, or the elephant, or one of them, one of the old Barney songs.
Well, so we had an elephant at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was
the elephant going bark. Continue on.
Different live and everything, but back to Music Everywhere was my all-time favorite.
Did you have a favorite? Like, I love doing the stunts. It was my absolute favorite thing to do. From jumping a rope to roller skating to jumping in a pool. I loved it. I loved the challenge of it. What was your favorite thing to do?
On set?
Yeah. When you were playing Riff, was it the dancing? Was it, any stunts you did? Was it,
oh gosh.
Not to put you on the spot, right?
No, because I'm thinking of so many fun times I had. I mean, of course, the dancing with the two other Jeff and Kyle, and then you, and then one of the episodes that popped up was when we had all the fruit in front of by the tree, and we're doing all the countdown, doing that and everything, and but I think mainly with Riff's head lighting up when you would do Wowzer, doing that and stuff, and it's just kind of like playing different instruments. But I think when we were us four together doing a bunch, all the different songs and stuff, that was really kind of cool because to collaborate. Yes, I was off doing my own kind of thing as Riff with the music or finding something new, but then also dancing with you three and stuff. Right. So
what was it like? Obviously the three characters were so iconic.
Yeah.
And so you jump into that and the fans already know them. Everyone knows them, and here's this new character. Right. Was that tough to break in? Was it tough for you to understand that it was going to take a moment for fans, for people to accept the character, when they had such love for the other three?
Right. Yes, I mean, it was. because yes, I was another dino like with Baby Bop and BJ, but that was my first thing, is to establish my own character, be Riff, be different, be totally out of the ordinary. That the boy BJ and Baby Bop and doing her thing, but be Cousin Riff, and then being his own unique self, and establishing that character, but also syncing with the other two. And I think that's what kind of collaborated us together. I mean, we kind of looked the same as dinos, but we were different. And I mean, besides the color, and that was always, as I was learning along the way of to get to know more about Riff, of myself, the character, but also with Michaela and establishing that. So, but I mean, it was.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean it was tough at the beginning, but I mean, I wouldn't say tough. It was challenging, but it grew on me. It grew on me more, and so it was a great learning process along the way. And then with your help and Kyle and Jeff, and giving me little pointers, of what to do, and helped me out, really helped out a lot. So,
do you have a favorite? Let's go with classic Barney song. Was there one that you were like, oh my gosh, I love performing this one?
Oh gosh.
Because I have several that just, obviously, I Love You.
Hot Barney. What's the one we did?
Mr. Knickerbocker.
Mr. Knickerbocker. Yeah, Mr. Knickerbocker, and then oh gosh, we did a bunch. Yes, besides Music Everywhere.
Well, that's why I said that, because I know Music Everywhere was a riff.
Right.
I want to see,
Oh, the one we did with the African dancers. Remember that dance? It was an episode. I was we brought up on set at one time.
I do, but I don't remember the song yet.
Oh, I mean, I know that it wasn't really a song. I was doing more of a dance. It was one of my episodes. That was a cool experience, dancing, with that. But back to the Mr. Knickerbocker, and then didn't BJ have a song? Didn't he have a? Yeah, he had a cool song that just learning a bunch. I mean, there were so many of them.
Yeah.
Of course, I Love You at the very end, but it's you name it when it comes on. I mean, it's crazy now when Barney songs come on, or certain ones. I remind myself back on set, just doing different things, or doing and stuff. So
what are your thoughts now? All these years, what are your looking back at it? What are your thoughts about the role you played?
It was a great memory. Wish we can carry it on even more, today. And I think just being just a creative aspect of it, and learning, about different things from the job, but also as the character, establishing the relationship with you and Kyle and Jeff, all the producers, all the the props, the people behind the camera. And just us as a big family. I mean, I'll never forget that. And it was just it was fun being part of it. And I'm so glad that we can talk about this today, about old memories and about old things, and carry on, for generations and stuff.
Well, it just brings back lots of smiles. It brings back lots of good memories.
Yep.
So, what are you doing these days?
With COVID and everything, it just kind of been helping on the farm and doing that, but I'm working on a new production right now. We're just kind of in the early stage of it, and then I was working doing the Christmas show at the MGM for the last 4 years, doing that. But just kind of just brainstorming a few different ideas. All depends again with COVID and everything. But my wife has a family farm, so I've been working on that a lot, and then also with my kids and their sports. My daughter's in dance, my son's in baseball, and so I've been a dad, sports dad, doing that. And then, but I gotta say, Carrie, I still have that, when it's in our blood, and as a tweener, but and seeing what you're doing now, and for us, it's just like, if they called us up today to go do a episode, or we still have that energy, we still have that love, and it's always been in me and stuff. So, but.
Oh, I know. I jumped back in the costume, goodness gracious, a year something ago, and I just couldn't even help myself.
Yeah.
It was like, I got to go do it. And even my mom was like, are you thinking that's a good idea? I was like, yeah, I got this. I got this. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it fueled my soul again. So I know exactly what you're saying. Once a performer and always a performer, it always sticks with you. I asked what you're doing because I always see you on social media. You're somewhere doing something. You always got a lot going on.
Yeah, well, being up here in the Midwest, but then I go back home, back to Texas a lot, and then to see my brother and sister, and then other families. So I'm always still trucking along, keeping it going and stuff. So, but
I can't even tell you, Adam. It's just been a blast having you here, hearing these stories.
Yeah.
I always love the perspective. I always love hearing the other perspective of it because yes, we were both doing the same kind of thing, but we have different experiences. And I always find it fascinating to hear a different perspective on what that amazing experience was.
Right, because I think back then when we were working together, we never really got to know each other besides our working, I'm just here to hang out, work, go grab lunch, dinner, and that kind of things. But we, as years went on, and with our experiences and stuff, it's great to
people
come back.
Don't realize the amount of, from rehearsals, dance rehearsals, doing the show. Some of us were doing special events here and there, or this. There was a lot going on at all times. And, a lot of times my conversations with you were on set.
Right.
Waiting for a camera or waiting for a light or waiting for something like that.
Right.
It is interesting to be able to, all these years later, sit back and actually talk about those crazy times.
Great. That's awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I loved it.
Well, we loved having you here, and you don't be a stranger. You'll have to come back at some point.
Oh, I will, buddy. I will. I mean, definitely. I mean, we need to have another reunion again, like we did last year. I mean, it was great. I think when we met up at Top Golf, the four of us, and just get together, have share old times. And...
Yeah, I think they had to close that Top Golf for a little bit after the four of us being there, and. I think Jeff got banned for a little bit, and all that. Too much laughing.
I gotta ask you, when you, I know you know us now. It's funny, but at the beginning, Kyle and Jeff, but and then when I joined the group, we would always come and hang out, just seeing the reaction. Just Jeff would always give you crap and everything, and just because
always still does
that and stuff. So, but. It was great. It was fun, and our sound crew
it was such an amazing experience because I started in '91, and so I would have met Jeff somewhere around 92, 93, something of that nature, and it was Jeff Brooks originally. And that's what I'm saying. I had never been that experienced.
Right.
Being around such an amazing group of people.
Yeah.
And and that's the first time I've worked with little people.
Right.
And changed my life. Like I said, from Jeff climbing in the grocery store, I've seen Kyle climb stuff, and like I said, wrestle me down and all the things. It's really special. And it's really important, and I don't know. I always think it's funny how you have memories of things, right? Like I always see Jeff on that bicycle, whipping all over the place.
Right.
And Kyle and his little scooter deal, and you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned about the tapping on the stomach, and I remember that very much.
Yeah.
And knowing you, it just kind of fits. So it's funny how that kind of stuff goes.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see the personality of every one of us in those. We definitely felt the characters, but we also a little bit of each of us is in that. And it is funny when you said that, like, oh yeah. I seen Adam do that. I think I saw you at Top Golf. You probably did that move because it's just part of the.
Sure, it's just it's not, it's crazy. Even after years and doing stuff, some things will come back.
Right.
You know, because it just became natural for us when we were on set, you know, in costume, out of costume, and so it's just
Well, it's funny you say that because we got to Top Golf, and I mean it's a damn competition. It's
Man.
damn if everyone's not trying to outdrive each other. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
But you know what? We had that though, because I knew Jeff Kyle, but we had that on set. We had a very competitive nature.
Oh,
yes, we were big sports fans outside of work, but we were very competitive, and I think that's what kind of brought us together. You know, even on set and off set, and so that's what we kind of collaborated very. Yes, we were all strong-willed, but we knew each other, and that's what kind of helped along the way.
Well, I think what's important in that is there's respect.
Right.
Everyone respects everyone, and so if that's the case, if I get pinned down from Kyle, it's out of love, it's out of respect, or you're out driving me at Top Golf or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a respectful, loving competition.
Right.
That's what makes it so cool.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Very much so. I mean, it's just like we know how to feed each other. We know how to what that respect and stuff. So it's all out of love.
Well, you guys didn't give me enough time to prepare for Top Golf, and I think you go on just a little bit, and so I know next time I'm gonna have to loosen up a little bit before I show up on deck because it is a go from the moment I got there.
Oh yeah. Well, you know us. When you have to deal with the three of us, you know it's game on.
Yeah, there is no question about that.
Still.
No question about that.
Yes.
Well, Adam, I can't thank you enough. So good to see you, and man,
thank you.
A blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and so happy for what you're all doing, and keep up the great work, man.
Hey, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Purple Roads. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your Purple Road. We'll see you next week.
That was Purple Roads, episode number 67. What do I think about this episode? It was amazing. So far, this episode went to be a success. Anyways, guys, double episode of LJPCBM React, episode number 620. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one, which will be LJPCBM React, episode number 621 on Password, episode 2, season 1. This is for you, Dave, if you're watching this. Till next time, so just goodbye, peace out, baby. Good more business, guys, very soon. Till then, Jefferson out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.